Hello, and welcome to our short conversation about middle school. I'm Shannon Whiteside, the program director, and this is Kerri Forney, CMI board member and curriculum developer. My youngest daughter is in the wonderful transition time as a middle schooler of moving from the elementary years into the much more independent years of high school. It is so fun to see her growing and developing as a person, and I thought it might be helpful to talk more about these years.
That's a great idea, Shannon. So, what are some of the ways that you have guided her into more independence?
One way that I do that over the course of middle school is by having her follow the Alveary lesson plans in a few subjects by herself and then adding more. I explain the process, look over the lesson plans with her, show her the books and materials she will need, and then include in her schedule when she will either narrate to me or read me her narration or show me what she's done in that subject for the day or the week. Then, if she has any questions during the lesson, she can ask me.
What subjects did you start with?
I think literature and history are good subjects to begin with, and then I added in geography reading and drawing maps.
Hmm. Yeah, some of my kids found it helpful for me to start the year reading the book to them. And then after they got into the book and got used to the writing style, I would hand it over to them for them to do on their own. And then sometimes if they got confused or stuck or had questions later on in the term, I would jump back in and do a few lessons with them again to help out. How else have you helped them start off?
I would have them start reading aloud to me as a first step in the transition. I also had my kids work on a subject together, like literature without me.
Yeah, that's a great idea to have them work together. Yeah. It's important to remember that as the student takes on more independence in their education or continues this process of self education that Mason talks about, that we remember the weight of that safe self education. As your late elementary and middle school age students do more and more independent work, be sure to check in with them about how they're doing in this area, especially if there are younger siblings in the home that you are still doing lessons together with. Sometimes the older student can feel left out and a bit lonely because education is a community event too. So be sure to ask your middle schooler about their work. Ask them what's happening in the book and what are they finding interesting.
And it's also important to keep some things that you're doing together with the student. So there's a mix of both independent work and things done together. Their skills of time management and self discipline will continue to grow and be refined throughout the high school years. Another thing we found helpful is to have all my daughter's books and supplies in some sort of organized space or bin so she can easily find what she will need for each lesson on her own. Sometimes you might need to try out a couple different plans to find out one that works for your student.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, every student's a little bit different in how they need to be able to locate their things and keep things organized. What about a timer to help keep them on track for lesson times? I know that it was really important for my kids and for myself to move through our daily lessons each day. And it might be helpful to talk a bit about maybe how narrations are growing and changing at this point, too. What happens in the middle school years in terms of narration?
Many students at this age have become fluent in oral narrations and are getting comfortable with written and typed narrations of the sort that tell back from beginning to end what happened. And once that is the case, then it's time to start working on picking and choosing what is important to them in the reading and learning the art of being concise. Students can also start narrating silently or aloud to themselves and then use their writing time to focus on a certain character, the setting, the scene, conflict, or something more specific than just what happened first and then what came next.
Yeah, and as the mechanics of writing or typing take less focus and concentration, the student is able to interact a bit more with the content of what they're reading, and it shows up in their writing. And this is one of my favorite things about the middle school years. Each grade has new wonders of watching the growth of a person.
I hope you found these tips helpful. Thank you for joining us.